I'm Erik Johnston. I'm in Austin, Texas. This is March 15th, 2012. I'm in Cafe Medici right now, which is the best coffee house in Austin. My brain damage, the biggest lesion in my brain was on the front left side of my brain, which is where your logic and all these other skills happen. And the idea is that when your brain is damaged, instantly it starts wiring to find other parts of the brain that can take over the capacities that you lost, right? And so people who have brain damage on the left side of their brain, there have been instances where they suddenly have these creative giftings and abilities, and I think in a sense maybe that's some explanation for what happened to me. I come out of that and suddenly it's like this other part of my brain's on steroids, right? And suddenly I see music, I see the emotion, and I see how I can paint with it and how I can speak with it. I'm an average dude, grew up in Texas like a lot of people, and I had an interest in music, that kind of thing. Parents gave me some opportunities. I was one of those kids who actually liked practicing and gave myself to practicing once in a while at least. Got some rudimentary skills, and then as life went by, I found that I was really kind of basing my security, my esteem in those skills musically, and then I just kind of not feeling fulfilled. I started kind of rebelling as teenagers do, took alcohol on a school trip, and got expelled from school effectively. I mean, they let me withdraw before the expulsion would go through, so it's not on my record. I don't actually have to say I was ever expelled, but that's the nice way of doing it. They give you a chance to say, why don't you just quit now and we won't have to kick you out. So I didn't go to school for a while, but because of that I got this job at a computer store, and life's going on. And on my way to work one day, a friend was driving me. He was making a left turn, that kind where you yield on green and the oncoming traffic, you can't see around the car. Is the intersection clear? Can I go? So my buddy went 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and some guy ran the yellow light, maybe it was red then, hit my car, or hit my friend's car, and I don't have memory of any of this. I was in the hospital. I was in a coma, and I had brain damage and all that. I ended up being paralyzed on the left side of my body, and effectively had to learn to walk again. And about a year later, it was time for college, so I came to UT, and I didn't go to class a lot or do much homework, but there was a piano on campus that I liked, and my experience in life during that time was like battling real intense depression and like just being totally lost. And I dress up my experience with the words I know how to, and so I put words of God and Jesus and heaven and all that to the experience. Not that it was heaven, it was really a kind of hell, being that lost and confused and really learning everything. But that piano on campus, I would go and I would just kind of play certain chords. I hadn't forgotten the structure of music, so I'd play these chords, and for some reason, the C minor chord really spoke to the emotion I experienced. Like I saw the sound, I saw the pattern with my fingers and notes, and for some reason, somehow my brain attached an emotion of melancholy to that chord at that time, and it just felt good. Finally, something kind of gives me some relief from the distress I'm experiencing in life. So I would go and play the same chords, then it became a song finally, a simple song, really, really simple. The genesis of writing music for me was one of recovery from brain injury, as I kind of was attaching emotions and thoughts to the sounds that I would stumble upon at the piano. And so I feel like I was blessed because I was given some skills on the piano, and I was taught how you practice, which is really just a way of saying I was taught how to teach myself. I know how to do scales, and that kind of occurred to me, this is how I can improve my technique and write maybe more songs that express more sophisticated emotions. I write music to express my emotion, and I hope that it blesses people in knowing that there are deep levels that we as humans communicate on. So when I play here, usually, I play an hour straight, or try to. I played 2 hours straight once, and I don't really stop and start my pieces because I'm not looking for applause and all this fame so much as I do want to catch people's attention. I want them to get those goosebumps and be like, wow, that's really pretty, and be caused to think, and let that emotional part be triggered. Because at some level, I just want to know I'm not alone in this world, and that what I think is a challenging experience isn't only being experienced by me and being experienced for the first time in a novel way. I really am desperate to know that other people have been in hard places too, and happy places. It's not necessarily all in reference to an accident or anything. I mean, like, I don't really think about that car accident very much anymore.
What do you mean by
Challenging? Oh, you're fighting with your wife and you think, man, is this marriage going to work? You know? I know, obviously there's enough divorces, enough people who've almost gone there and yet been pulled from the brink of divorce. I know, okay, other people made it through there. But when you're kind of in maybe that experience, or your kid's hurt, or you lost your job, or maybe you're joyful and you want to share that joy, whatever the emotion is, somehow my experience is that I feel like I'm the only one in the world who's experiencing this, and no one's ever felt what I'm feeling before, and I feel so alone, and it makes me kind of very sad. But yet, somehow for me through music, I feel like communication can be established, and I see that twinkle in people's eye, and I see the reflection and the communication, like even what you guys shared, that says, yes, okay, these people know what I'm saying, whether I'm saying it musically or with my words, and that gives me hope that I'm not alone, and I think it gives those people hope that, hey, they're not alone either. I think it betters their life. I think at some deep neuronal level, the brain's like, hey, that actually harmonizes with my experience, and I think our brains like that. I think we want to be connected to people, and the only way we can connect with people is if we're communicating. So for me, music is just a language, really, that it's very abstract, and it's like painting with watercolors and everything's blurred and way far away, but the artist knows exactly what he wants to paint, and I think he indeed has hopes that the audience will get something similar out of it.